Hi, in this video I want to talk about CERT Unit 4, that's Disaster Medical Operations 2, and some of the changes, the adaptations that we've made to this unit here in CERT Brazil. Now you'll remember that in DMO 1 we teach the start triage protocol. We use coloured ribbons for triaging. We'll often use either the stuffed animals, the little cutout figures, or maybe the mini Annies so that they can do some practical triage. We then continue on in DMO 2 talking about the medical treatment area. Now one of the things we've done is we've actually made some signs. These are just printed card that have been plastic coated so that they can identify both the command post and the medical treatment area. And our team, they'll just have some standard white tape, this is rather yellow tape, that they will use for a number of different functions. They'll put this tape on the hard hat of the person that's been designated team leader. We can use that for putting the signs up, and we can use it as well for the splints later on. Now, when we're doing the medical treatment area, we'll teach them about it, and then we'll do a practice. So we're now putting together the idea of finding a command post, identifying a leader, identifying the location of the medical treatment area, and then the leaders sending in a triage team, and then finally bringing out the victims, who will be maybe these stuffed animals or the mini Annies, back to the treatment area. So as we're defining the treatment area, depending on what we're doing and where we're doing it, I actually have a number of just floor mats in the appropriate colours, so that we can just use these instead of the triage tarps as we're bringing out the animals or the figures, and they can mount a treatment area using what's simulating the coloured tarps, but in a much smaller area. This is quite useful if we're doing the course inside maybe a school or a church building. They will be able to put up the cards identifying the different areas and go through the whole process of the initial triaging and starting to get into search and rescue. Now we also do have triage tarps. Unfortunately for us, the tarpaulin kit itself is prohibitively expensive. So we've just purchased plastic tarpaulin. We have the yellow, we have one side's black, the other side's white, we have the red one and the green, and these serve as our triage tarps. And so we can set up a full-size treatment area. We actually have a gazebo that we can use, and that might become the command post, or it might become the medical treatment area. When we're doing the simulation, and maybe we're using the Annies or the stuffed animals, we'll often use the lids from our equipment boxes as improvised stretchers, just so they can get the idea of going in, doing voice triage, doing triage, back to the command post, then the team leader, the incident commander, sending the teams out to bring in the survivors according to their priority and ease of access. So we're starting to do a complete exercise as we're working through DMO 2. Now we also have some in our little box, our little folder that has our documents. We have different coloured papers that can be just taped up on the wall to designate the different priority areas inside our medical treatment area. For example, if the treatment area is inside a classroom, we might just tape these up around the classroom to indicate the priority of each treatment area. Now, we go on through DMO 2, we talk about head-to-toe assessment, and this is where our dear friend Bob comes in handy. I can demonstrate head-to-toe assessment using Bob. Depending on the group, they may then practice that in pairs, or it might be that they choose to use and train using the mannequin itself. Bob will come in handy later on as we start doing carries and stretches and so on too. Finally, we talk about, as we go through the different parts of treatment, we talk about the need to do splinting. And as you remember, normally we'll use cardboard for the splinting. What I found was easy was to put maybe just some contact or just some sticky tape on pieces of cardboard and just fold them so that we already have the cardboard splints made up, and then they can use them, and normally they'll practice the splinting on each other. We have just a box with some of our bandages, so they'll use the bandages, the cardboard, and obviously they do need to have padding so that they can fill in just the voids as they're splinting. So we have just a bunch of old shirts that we use as padding material. So we make that all available. They may choose to use the bandages to bring the splint together, or maybe just the sticky tape, and that's a practical exercise that everybody will do the splinting. Then we'll make sure that we see how effective it was. I think those are the major changes that we've made to DMO2. Thanks.